All right, how are y'all feeling today?
Wonderful.
Awesome, I'm so glad. All right, well, we'll start off cross-legged again today. So y'all can take a second and breathe. Hopefully your week has not been too stressful. If it is, then let's reset. Take a few deep breaths. Allow those shoulders to relax and let your elbows pull down heavy. So if you've got your arms over your knees, you can feel like your elbows are pulling your shoulders down from your ears. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Keep those shoulders held down. Big breath in, lift that chin toward the ceiling. Breathe in. As you exhale, we're going to drop the chin down one more time. Inhale, lift that chin toward the ceiling. All right, bring your head back to neutral. We're going to keep those hands over your knees here. Drop your ear over your shoulder. So trying to make sure that your opposite shoulder is held down from your ear. Not going to follow your head. Big breath in, move the head through the center. Exhale to drop your ear over your other shoulder. In, moving the head to the other side. This time, take your opposite hand and just reach behind your back. So you can put your hand on the ground if you'd like. Just accentuating that stretch. And we'll inhale as we place that hand on the knee. Drop your ear to your other shoulder, and the opposite hand is going to go behind your back again. Inhale, come back up. You can walk the fingertips forward. Take your time. Allow your shoulder blades to roll forward. Stretch out near the spine. Trying to relax through the hips. Nice and easy. Let's inhale, bring the hands back. We're going to bring the feet out of that folded position. You can just rock the knees side to side a couple of times. Open up through those hips. And then we're going to send the feet out straight in front of us. Right there. Legs out nice and straight. You can start with your hands behind you. Just very gently start to lean your torso over your legs. We're trying to keep the stress off the hip flexors for a sec, so we're trying to not strain up in here at the front of the hips, so we got our hands behind us. If this is comfortable and you don't have any issue with leaning forward, you can go ahead and reach with both hands out over your legs. And you just find a spot to anchor down. Take a few breaths. You're going to inhale, come on up, and go ahead and lay down on your back. Hi, get up. Yeah, I have a 5 or something. Yes. Yeah, I'll give you a call.
Okay, that sounds good, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we're gonna take one leg, pull it up toward your chest, and take a couple of breaths. And then taking that knee, you're gonna pull it over past the opposite shoulder toward the other side of the mat. So big twist through the hips, trying to keep the chest open toward the ceiling. Inhale, pull that knee back to the center. You're gonna send that leg out nice and long. Bring the opposite knee up toward the chest. And then pulling that knee across the body toward the opposite side of the mat. You can just twist through the hips. Keep that chest open toward the ceiling. One more breath in. As you exhale, you can go ahead and return to neutral. Take your time sitting back up. So we're going to come up off of the mat. And when you're ready, we're going to have one more fold forward. So you can either just sit up tall, or if you want to take your belly button closer to your thighs, just start to lean over. Either anchoring those hands behind you, or you can reach the hands forward. Take your time. We're going to come up out of that shape. Let's go forward onto hands and knees. Raising those hands down. We're going to take a second And just wiggle out through the shoulders and the hips so you can move freely. Wiggling the shoulders to one side, hips to the other if you need to. Okay, so we're going to return to neutral. Bring those hands underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips. We're going to pull the shoulders down from the ears. It's working on being nice and strong through the core. Big breath in. As you exhale, send one leg back and just hold it nice and strong. Trying to push through both hands and the leg that's on the floor. One more breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to take that leg, cross it over to the outside edge of the mat, so out on the floor. And we're going to turn the head to look in the direction of that leg. So you're kind of making a big C shape with your hips, your shoulder, and your spine. You're going to inhale. Let's bring that knee back to the center. Double check the position of your hands and your knees. You want to have your knees at least a hip width wide so you don't start to shift on the next one. We're going to take a big breath in. Exhale, send the other leg back. So shoulders are down. Midsection is nice and strong. Pushing strongly through both hands. Trying to keep those hips and shoulders level. One more breath in. On the exhale, we're going to move that leg over to the side and turn the body to look toward that foot. So we're turning the eyes and the shoulders just a little bit. One more breath in. On the exhale, you can take your time, bring that leg back to the center. We're going to send the knees out wide, bring the big toes together. And if you're able, go ahead and sit on back into extended child's pose. If you want to keep the head elevated a little bit, you can just rest the forearms down on the mat rather than lowering your forehead down. More deep breath. Try to relax through those hips. So when you're ready, we're going to come up out of that shape. Let's go ahead and move the legs off to one side. We're going to go into a 90-90. So let's have one leg out slightly in front, other leg behind. So remember, your front thigh is straight off in front of you. Your back thigh is going to be more sideways on this one. And if you need to adjust the legs, you can always have a leg up off of the floor if it's not feeling so good. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall. Planting those hands down, we're trying to lift through the chest, just sinking through the hips for a sec. And if it's really uncomfortable, sometimes if you actually pull your feet in closer, sometimes it takes some of that strain off of the hips. If it doesn't feel so good. Okay, take your time. We're going to start to tip forward, so we're reaching that belly button over the middle part of the thigh. You can go as low as you'd like. If you want to drop all the way to the floor, you're welcome to. If you want to keep the head up a little higher, just keep those hands planted down. One more big breath in. On the exhale, we're going to come up out of that shape, but keeping the legs the same, we're going to start to reach toward that back leg. So see if you can reach that same side arm toward your shin, and we're going to get a little side bend. And if this feels easy, you don't have to anchor or kickstand yourself here. You can reach with the opposite arm toward your side leg as well. Two more breaths. Okay, so from here, we're going to lift the body up straight again. Let's take that front foot, pull it in. We're going to have a little challenge for this back leg. So if you have to, you can put your weight on your back hand. I'd like you to try to pick that leg up and see if you can straighten it out off to the side. Nice. Okay, so just sitting up nice and tall, we're going to do one more bend over this leg. So from here, we're reaching over, reaching with the same side arm first. And then if it feels okay, you can reach with both hands. Enjoy the sound of the beat. Very good. When you're ready, you can inhale. We're going to repeat all that on the other side. So now we're going to pull that back leg, we'll lift the back leg in. Other leg's going to go off to the side. Yeah, remember, front thigh is straight off in front of you, back thigh is straight off to the side. If you want to pull the feet in to take some of the pressure off of the hips, you can. You just got the opposite arrangement with the feet this time. So you're sitting up nice and tall. Try to sink through those hips. Move your legs around a little more if you need. And very gradually, same thing. We're going to start to tip the body forward, so reaching your belly button toward the inside of your thigh. If you feel comfortable and want to drop all the way to the floor, you can. One more breath in. Exhale, we're going to push up out of that shape. And we're going to be tilting toward that back leg. So backside arms are to grab hold of the shin. We're doing a little side bend. This is just in case you need an extra pull. If you're not comfortable, if you need to keep that hand down next to you, you can, or you can try to reach with both arms. But we're not trying to strain into this. So if this feels like way too much work, just keep your other hand there behind you so you don't feel like you're going to fall on your head. Two more breaths. And as we move out of that shape, We're gonna take the front foot, pull it in. You can plant that front side arm down if you need to. We're picking up that back leg and you're gonna straighten it out. Try to not get a hip cramp. Okay, same thing, one more stretch over this leg. We're gonna reach out with the same side arm, anchor down, and if it feels good, you can reach with both hands. One more breath in. Exhale, you can bring it on up. Okay, so for our last little bit, we're gonna stand on up. Take your time coming up off the floor. Okay, so starting off with feet nice and wide. So give yourself a second. Stretch those feet out. If you want to push your hip flexors forward for a moment, you can. Just take a few deep breaths. And we're going to take one leg and turn that foot out. Okay, and then from here, we're going to reach down with one hand and up with the other. So a little side bend here. Just trying to keep that chest open to the middle of your body, so we're not turning the chest toward the floor. We're feeling like we're turning it toward the ceiling. 2 more breaths. And we're going to take the arm that's pointing at the ceiling. We're going to drop it down toward that leg that's on the floor. And now we're going to twist the other direction. So opposite arm is going to reach off to the side and reach as much toward the ceiling as you can without completely twisting yourself into a pretzel. Yep, so we're still on the same leg. We're just reaching with the opposite arm. Let's breath in. Exhale, you can lower that arm down. Take your time coming up out of that stretch. We're going to repeat going the other way. Okay, so the first thing we're doing is just turning the opposite foot. So whichever leg you had turned out a second ago, turn the other foot now. We're going to tip at the hips, reach the same side arm down toward the ankle or the shin, and then other arm is going to stretch up toward the ceiling. Remember, if this doesn't feel good, you can have your hands planted a little higher on your leg, so it's not so much of a stretch on your back. And then we're going to take that arm that's reaching at the ceiling, we're going to bring it down toward that same leg, and the opposite arm is going to stick out behind us and twist slightly in the other direction. More breaths. Good. You can lower that hand down. Bring yourself up out of that shape. Pulling that foot in. Good. All right, we're going to go ahead and plop back down on the mat. So for our last moment or so, remember you can sit up nice and tall, or you can lay on your back or on your belly. Just find a position that's most comfortable for you. We're just trying to sit nice and quiet for our last few moments. Got one more minute here. When you decide that you're done for today, you can wiggle around and just sit on that when you're finished. How's everybody feeling?
Great.
Better today? Roberto?
As long as I don't lay backwards on it.
All right, great job, guys.